My name is Paris. I'm a user experience researcher at Rokid. So here's a list of products that we make. The top one is our second generation smart speaker. It's called Pebble. The one below it is our flagship product, which is called Ambient. It's also a smart speaker. And then the glass next to it is our AR glasses that we made in-house. So basically, apart from designing and developing smart speakers, we also make AI voice interact AI chips that will allow like third-party vendors to create their own smart speakers, smart appliances, and some other in-car solutions as well. So some benefits for the developers. We also have all sorts of SDKs and developer kits that are available for you to use. The mission of our company is that we're always striving to provide the most beautiful design and the superior user experience. So here's a video clip of, is it not working? Okay, yeah, fortunately, I think there's a little glitch. Okay, so basically we're a group of designers, researchers, scientists that are located in the Bay Area. And our headquarters in Hangzhou, China, which we everything we made in-house. We have like supply chain, sales, marketing, and etc. And we have another lab that's located in Beijing. So just to let you know a few key components of our company to separate us apart from the rest of the competitors. So it's estimated that we're worth 4.9 million in US dollars last year. And we're very proud of ourselves that we're 100% focused on usability and design. And we're the only Chinese company that can make the wake word to 2 syllables, which is no comparable with the rest of the companies in China. And more than 60% of our company's employees that hold a master and PhD degree from all the renowned universities throughout the world. We have people from Harvard, Stanford, Berkeley, and etc. And they all have this unique leading industry experience from Amazon, from Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, Samsung, Google, and etc. So what exactly is augmented reality? Some of you may already know that is by combining both the virtual and real content together. So here's our AR glasses. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to show you a really cool video clip, but you can always check us online at YouTube. So how AR is going to change usability? So first of all, we're focusing on adaptivity, sorry. So basically, unlike cell phones where you hold it in your hand or put it in your pocket, AR glasses, something like what we make, is sort of like everyday glass where you wear it, and but you really have to be sure that if you walk out on the street in sunlight, we have ambient light sensor that can reduce the amount of brightness on your lenses. And also, when you take off your glasses and just hold it in your hand, we also have the proximity sensor that will allow the glasses to be paused for a second to save the energy. And another key fact about how AR could change usability is that AR is highly focusing on multi-sense interaction. So basically, with smart speakers, you could have both your hands occupied, and at the same time, you use voice command to control all sorts of stuff. With AR glasses, it's even more so. So imagine that you put on your AR glasses and start playing video games, and at the same time, you wanted to take a picture of yourself doing that, and it's something what AR could do for you. And the environment, this is something that's really interesting. When I conduct a usability test in our lab, we find out that the environment is it's very key factor because when you wear eyeglasses, something with a little dim on the lenses, you always wanted to make sure that you're not only focusing on, as a participant or a user, not only focusing on the kind of content that you're looking through your glasses, but also the surroundings. You might have a video or some sort of images playing in front, and if you're wear that in a shopping mall, then you have a lot of people surrounding you. You don't want to get, bumped into someone or get tripped over. So a couple of case studies I'd like to share with you. First of all is the AR speakers. So the image in the middle is the one we made, we 3D printed, and we have speakers that are, glued on the side of our glasses leg. And then basically when we do the usability testing, even before that, we have to make a trade-off between how the speakers sound and how loud it is, and also trying to make sure that the speaker is not large enough, which cannot be really fit into the slim legs of our eyeglasses. And also at the same time, want to make sure that when you do the usability testing, you want to know what kind of scenarios you're actually using your glasses for. So there might be situations that when you want to listen to music, watch movies with it, or you really wanted to, as a user, want to hear commands from the glasses or give out commands to the glasses, and how long you're going to wear the glasses for. So basically, we ran 3 rounds of tests based on 3 rounds of tests to select the right type of speaker for us. So the very first test we made was to have a cell phone's receiver put into our glasses. So as you know, there aren't very many, very many vendors or suppliers who make speakers for glasses. So unfortunately, we had to find a supplier who makes speaker for cell phones. So then, the speaker, the actual size of the receiver could be put into our glasses. And so when we conducted a test, we found that the volume of the receiver is not as loud. So, and even with our test that's in our lab setting, which is around like 40 to 50 decibels, we still couldn't really hear the speakers well. So unfortunately, we had to conduct a second round of tests. It was really lucky for us to be able to find a speaker size that's really small enough. It was only 1 millimeter wide than the original receiver size. So we were able to put that in, and then when we conducted the second round of tests, the result was thrilling. We were able to hear sound much better with even with the noisy environment that's around like 70 or 80 decibels. So the first round of tests was something that is really sort of taking your design to the next level. Our founder's CEO wasn't really satisfied with the design of not the overall design, but only the thickness of the eyeglasses leg. It was so he really wanted to make sure that the legs of the glasses is really slim and fashionable. That's the reason why we conducted the third round of tests. Yeah, so pretty much we before when we had the glass prototype, we had the speakers stick to the side of the glasses. So the sound is coming out, the sound is coming out from the side of your cheeks, and we fully used the rear sound cavity to make the sound better. But then when we conducted the first round of tests, we had to fully use the front sound cavity. That's the test result, and by putting the speakers in the rear back of your glasses leg. So the test result was a little bit, it wasn't the rear sound cavity is a little bit better than the front sound cavity, but wasn't much of a difference. So to compromise for the design of the glasses, we finally went with that option. So the takeaway for the first case study is that when you conduct usability testing, you really wanted to make sure that the environment you're conducting testing for is actually a replicate of your actual environment. So, so for the speakers test, we tried to make the background noise as loud as possible to make sure that it reaches up to 70 or 80 decibels, because one of our clients had that sort of concern. Another takeaway for you guys would be that when I conducted a test, we used a sound amplifier to make sure that there's enough current to drive the speaker, but also we use oscilloscope to make sure that we can monitor the waveforms of electric signals so that the volume does not go as high and exceeds the frequency range of the speaker. So then if that happens, you'll probably hear some current sound noise in the background. And another takeaway is that so the screenshot is the one I used to take notes for when we conduct the usability testing for the speaker. As you can see, we have a number of participants, and each one of them is listening to a particular piece of sound. And then I was able to record that sound with the amplifier, and there's different background noise. So there's like 40, 50, and 70 to 80. And it was a really, and then in between two sets of speaker models. So yeah. So another case study is the one between us and a top-tier online retailers in China. So of course they have offline stores, which is the one to your right, and the one to the left is a screenshot of me trying to replicate what it actually looks like in the real environment. So as you can see that the shelves are having so many bags, and when we did a test, of course, I removed the books from the shelves and also put a few more bags on the shelf. So to make sure that people would understand the how when they do the test, people would really understand, like what the test scene, what the actual scene would look like. So I let them preview the video clip we took from the actual scene. So then they will get this immersive experience when they do the test. Another thing is, so how I did the test was that we had 3 iterations of the UI layouts and elements. I first wrote a test script of the test scenario, and then we conducted the same test with each one of the UI layouts and elements. And then after the test is done, we asked each of our participants to rate their preference of the overall satisfaction, interaction, visual appeals with Likert scale. So basically, it's like 1 being there are like numerical scores. Probably some of you have already done this, like with 1 being the most unfavorable, 5 being the most favorable, and then had a score calculated. And so the takeaway of this second case study is that we all assume that, like, when we sort of interact with this new thing, this unnew stuff, we assume that people would prefer, something autonomous, which isn't the case here, because when we try to conduct our tests, we let a camera to recognize the patterns on the sort of like markers or the patterns on the bag, and then once the patterns recognized some additional information appear, like videos or images. So when we conducted a test with the actual participants, we found that when they look at the bag, they were like, oh, there's something appearing. Okay, and then it starts appearing, and then when they look away or look at a different bag and try to fiddle with the bag, the content disappeared. So it's kind of like this going back and forth is really annoying. So people had no idea how to get the content to start playing. You know, when the content becomes disappeared, they had no way of knowing how to get it back. So it's very frustrating for the participants to conduct it, to actually experience the experience the real the task scenario. So as a remedy, we started to give more control to the users by adding this confirmation and the permission as sort of like a start pause. When the pattern's triggered, we don't let the video to be displayed automatically, but instead we'll ask users to, they can press start, like they tap on the touch panel on our glasses, and then once they tapped on it, it will start playing automatically. And then at the same time, we don't when they look away, we'll try to fiddle with a different bag. The content which is already playing, we don't let it to stop. But then if users really want to stop them, then they can just tap on the touch panel again to stop the content. So that way, user will have more control over what kind of content they want it to be played. They want it to be played. And also, when they really want it to stop, they can that way. And our future study, which is something I thought that was kind of interesting, but haven't really gone on a trend yet, is we could add some eye trackers to our eyeglasses just for the pure usability testing purposes. This finding was something I discovered throughout the whole usability testing sessions. So during the previous test, I always kept a record of when the participants start doing the test. But then later on, when I review those recordings, I had no way of knowing whether people are really looking at the content, like looking at the things they're supposed to look at, or they just stare at something, like daydreaming, or not really giving much attention to the content. So I thought, why not, put a couple of cameras inside of your lenses, and then, that way will help to capture your eye movements, and also at the same time, it has a depth camera, which is already on our glasses. So these two type of images can be overlaid. So will help people to, will help us to have a better sense of whether the layouts for our AR glasses is making any sense. Yeah. Okay, do you guys have any questions? I know that we're running a little late. It's probably only 1 minute, but yeah. Cool. Nope, okay. Just to be clear, if you want to get in touch, have any burning designers to be in touch, we're always welcome. So here's our contact information. Thank you, guys. Thanks.